Hi friends, it's Tuesday. It's another Tuesday. You probably don't remember what day it is. Most of us don't, but I looked. It's Tuesday, and guess what? Today is a full moon. So that means we're gonna work moon salutations today. They're a super grounding practice, and whether you love them or don't love them, they can be really, really comforting in this time of separation. So, let's begin. Hi friends, I see you all logging in. I guess I should wait one more minute. Look at that, lots of folks popping in. Hi, I can't see what your names are from all the way over here, but I'm so glad you're with me. So, if you'll lay out your mat, and if you own a block, it's really great for this practice to have a block around. If you don't, you can use a 5-pound bag of flour, a pound bag of flour, a good sturdy closed one, or maybe a stack of books, and many of you won't need a block at all, so don't worry too much about that. So as we come to practice today, let's begin lying down. So if you'll come to your mat, have a sit, and then bring the soles of your feet together, cobbler's pose, and then just take a lie down. Slide your hands back behind you, let go of the weight of your head, and let the thighs drop. Gently lift the shoulders so you can press into your elbows and the back of your head to draw your scapulas more under the back. Let your hands drop open and breathe into your nose. For the next few rounds of breath, let's breathe in through our nose and allow the breath to leave through the mouth. Smooth, long inhalation through the nose and allow the breath to go through the mouth. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Couple more. And then begin to breathe in and out through the nose. Let the weight of your arms drop, the weight of your legs. Feel the back body grounding into the earth. Become aware of the feet touching each other. And then if you like, you can take your right heel and press it into the left heel. So maybe you'll lift the ball of your right foot as you press your right heel into the left heel. You can make some circles with your right heel. Little massage for the left heel. And then maybe begin to slide the right heel up into the left arch, rocking it back and forth. And then maybe over to the long edge of the foot, all through the left foot, massaging with the right arch. And then after that little waking up of the left foot, slide your right heel up to the ball of the left foot and make some circles at the base of each toe. If this is too challenging to do with your feet, no worries. Just check it out, see if it's possible. And then maybe take your right heel and press back each of your left toes, waking up the left foot. So you know we're probably moving into some balance poses today if we're working our grounding by waking up our feet already. And then repeat any of those areas that felt really good to you. So mine's always the arch. You can even pause someplace and dig your heel in if it feels good. And then let go of that side. Pick up your left foot and draw that left heel into the right heel. Make some circles in the heel. And if this is just too weird to do without looking and without, if you can't navigate this left foot to do these movements, it's okay. Just feel free to sit up and use your hands if you like. And then after you've woken up the right heel with the left heel, slide the left heel up into the right arch. Giving the feet some love, a little wake-up call. And when you're ready, you can press the left heel into the ball of the right foot and the base of each toe. Just working across from the big toe to the pinky toe or vice versa, whatever makes sense to you today. And maybe press those toes back. And finally repeat something that felt extra good. Can be a lot of tension to release in the feet as they are sort of neglected far away from our hands, and just a little extra care is always helpful. So now, bring the soles of the feet together, releasing the thighs, release the legs, release all that effort, and just notice how your legs feel. And for a moment, press the soles of the feet together, turning on all the muscles in the legs. Press, press, press. And then inhale, soften, release. Notice how good it feels to let go of that tension. One more breath here. And then as you're ready, let's begin by rocking ourselves up today. So cross the ankles over, hold on to the long edges of your feet, and then rock a little bit side to side first, just waking up the back body, giving it a little massage. Perhaps you've been sitting in strange chairs in weird places as you're doing your work, if you're working from home, and that can get to our backs for sure. So it's a great way to align by giving yourself this massage with the weight of your body and gravity. So on your next inhale, lift the feet up over your head and begin to rock from up in the shoulders to down in the sits bones a few times, and maybe come up finally to balance, maybe not. So, you found your balance. Take your hands through to the center, hold on to the big toes, open the legs just as much as feels good. Draw your shoulders down the back, lengthen through the crown. Maybe press your legs a little straighter, maybe all the way straight, you decide. Let the thighs drop open a little bit more. Take a deep breath in. Draw the soles of the feet together and allow yourself to fold forward slightly or deeply, you decide. Listen to the body. Press the elbows either into the tops of the legs, pressing outward toward the knees, not necessarily downwards, but outwards, or press the elbows into the front of the shins. Draw your heart forward, the crown of your head forward. So it's less rounding and dumping as it is staying long through the crown and bringing yourself forward and down. On your next exhalation, we'll release. Draw the knees together. You can just swing the legs around to one side. You probably want to have the long edge of your mat facing the screen for moon salutations. So turn your toes under and step your feet out a little bit wider than normal. Well, it's quite a bit wider. It's 2 or 3 feet apart. It's actually about 2.5 feet apart. Let go of all the weight of your head. Hold your elbows. Just pause here for a moment. Reversing the flow of the blood and fluid in the body. And then inhaling, steer your left elbow and shoulder forward, your right elbow toward your right shin. A little twist. Release the weight of the head. You can soften your knees at any time. Remember, we want to stay in that place between easy and ouch. Stay inside of our own edge. And then exhale back to center. Inhale over toward the left. Just twisting that right elbow forward a little bit. Left elbow back toward the shin. Release the weight of the head. Rooting down into the feet.
On your next exhalation, come back to center, release everything. One more breath. Fingertips come to the ground, lift halfway. Bend your knees. Sink your hips in line with your knees or above, your choice. Drop your hips down. Keep your torso in line with the hips. And you can let your heels come in a little bit. You can rock between heels and toes so you can see your toes angle out a little farther. And then on your inhalation, hands come to the thighs. Press yourself up. Goddess. Bring your cactus arms along. So we've got these angles, right? 90-degree angles in the elbows and somewhere around there in the legs. It can be a little bit higher, of course, or a lot higher. You decide what you need. On your next exhalation, let's sink a little lower. And then inhale, rise up, 5-pointed star. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink. Inhale, rise. One more. From your 5-pointed star, let's turn our left toes toward the short edge of the mat. Drop your right heel away. Sink into warrior two. You know the rules. How many times have I told you? Check in with the front knee. Make sure you can still see that big toe on the inside of the front knee. Check in with the back foot. Make sure your heel's the furthest thing away from your body, or your foot is in direct alignment with the short edge of the mat. Arms extend, and they are parallel to the earth. So sink the scapulas down the back, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Smooth breath. Gazing over your left fingertips, take a deep breath in, lengthen up through the crown of the head, and then as you exhale, see if there's some more space to sink a little bit lower toward that 90-degree angle in the front knee. On your inhalation, let's flip our hands up, rise up, turn your gaze back to center. Sink the hands to the heart, check in with your intention as the thumbs touch the sternum. Open out, 5-pointed star. Turn your toes in the opposite direction. Your right toes out, left heel drops away. Let's sink into warrior two in this direction. So check in with your body. It's really easy. Now we already talked about the big rules here. Big toe we can see on the inside. We root into the long edge of the back foot. And then sink those scapulas down the back. We want to be straight up and down from our tail through our crown instead of getting dynamic and leaning forward. This happens a lot. So check in with your body. You can even rock a little bit back and forth in center till you feel like you're right in alignment. And as we gaze over this front hand, rooted in the feet, broad across the collarbones. Just explore the pose for a moment. Just notice what's here for you today. Take a deep breath in and maybe sink just a little bit more. Find your edge. One more breath. Straighten the front leg. Turn the toes toward the long edge of the mat. Scoop your hands into your heart in prayer, remembering your intention. It's good to heel and toe your feet a little bit closer than genie hands. Hop the feet together, remembering that intention. Sweep the hands down to go up. Let's take a big swan dive. Forward fold. Releasing any tension in the low back by bending the knees a little bit. Always keep a micro bend there at least. Releasing all the way to the head on purpose. So you can make all that space between the vertebra. Reversing gravity there. And on your inhalation, sweep the fingertips along the ground into chair pose. Sit down deep. Utkatasana. So we can see our toes in front of our knees, arms reach, biceps are right alongside ears if possible. And again, there's always a volume knob for you inside of every pose. Turn it down if you need to by softening your arms or coming up a little higher. You decide what's right for you. On your next exhalation, let's press the air away. Float hands all the way around in a big circle to thumbs at sternum. Big breath. Imprinting that intention. And then genie hands. Hop the feet apart. So let's once more turn our left toes out toward the short edge of the mat. Let your right heel drop away. Warrior two. And with breath, let's exhale our right hand back to our right leg. Left hand up and over, reverse warrior. Let this right shoulder roll down and back. Notice what it feels like to look up at your top arm. Keep the back of the neck arched rather than collapsed. See how my voice cuts off? I want to keep a nice arch there so we keep the breath flowing. Reach up through these left fingertips, getting a great stretch from the left hip all the way up through the fingertips. Now, notice what it feels like to look down at your right foot. Gentle, steady as she goes. Keep the neck long. Gaze toward the right foot. On your next exhalation, let's straighten the left leg, wind the arms all the way around into triangle pose. You may want to block here underneath this left hand. And you may not. If you don't have one, it's no big deal. You can easily ground or at least connect the upper and lower bodies by pressing the back side of this left arm into the inside of the left leg. Turn your torso open slightly, gazing up. Keep lengthening from the tail through the crown and ease yourself into the depth of your triangle pose. Stay rooted in the feet. Gaze can be up or down. Listen to your neck. One more breath. Turn the gaze to look at the left foot. Sweep your right hand down. We step our back foot in, coming into pyramid pose. This is a great place for a block again if you like, but also not absolutely necessary. So you can place your stack of books out here if you like. For some people, we're going to be up here, and that's perfectly lovely. Or hands on hips, just beginning to lengthen into pyramid pose. So we want to square our torso off over this front leg and release forward over the left leg. The block can be used behind the shin for some support. It can be used out in front for some extra stretch. In the arms, you press down with your hands on the top of the block and let go all the way to the head. Shifting this right hip slightly forward, no force, just shifting. Remember, we stepped that back foot in about 6 to 12 inches when we got here so that we could really root down the whole back foot, the whole front foot. And connect to breath here. Press your hands either into the block or the floor and push forward slightly to root down more into that back foot, maybe to enhance the stretch in the front leg. One more breath. And then out of pyramid pose, lift your gaze, bend your front knee, step back into a lunge. lengthen through the crown of the head. Root down in the hands. And on your next exhalation, we'll walk the hands around to the long edge of the mat, bringing these left toes along to turn to point toward the long edge. So we're in this side lunge. Side lunge is a great place to start. So we wring out this left hip, we stretch out the right adductors, rooted in the hands, length from the tail through the crown. And this left knee is pointing in the same direction as the left toes. You can play with bending your elbows and sinking a little deeper. Inhale, lift the torso if it's folded in, and then we'll straighten the left leg, walking your hands more toward the midline. Let the heels drop out a little bit. Get comfortable in the feet, and then release all the weight of the head. If you have a block and you want to use it, you can. Maybe root into the floor by using a block for the top of your head. There's no pressure in the top of the head here, so make sure it's low enough for you to get there. And for some of you, your head may already be on the ground. And for some of you, maybe far away, and that's perfect. We are exactly where we are today, and we're showing up. That is what's most important. Right now, you know, we're showing up for ourselves so that we can show up for others. One more breath. Move your block if you've got it. And we'll press into the floor with the fingertips, lift halfway, and shift over toward the right. Now we're getting that awesome stretch in the left adductors and a wringing out in the right hip crease. And again, after you've explored your way in to this side lunge, you can bend your elbows even more, letting go of the weight of the head if you like. Just listen to the body. Always, always, always. One more breath. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, walk the hands around the right foot. So we're back into the lunge on the opposite side. So our hands are framing the right foot. Lengthen from the back heel through the crown of the head. Step the back foot in at 6 to 12 inches. Whatever it is for you, so that you can get that back heel to root down into the earth so it's not floating off the ground. Pour your torso out over this front leg. And again, feel free to use a block or come up with hands on hips, hands on thigh, hands on block, hands on nearby furniture, whatever it may be for you. Allow the weight of your upper body to simply release, reverse, and let go. One more breath. And as we lift our torso, I'm going to pick up the left foot, step it out. We're preparing for triangle pose. We were there on the other side. If you used a block there, you might want one here. No matter who you are, I think it's important when we come from down low in a triangle pose to come up higher than we need to, so that we can get our torso pressed in line with our thighs so that we are pressed between two panes of glass. So using a block or not, or press the hand into the inside of the shin, reach up through the top arm, lengthen from the tail through the crown, set your gaze somewhere, and breathe. Adjust your feet as needed, so that left heel may want to drop away a little bit more. And then when you've come to the depth of the pose for you, draw your right hip slightly under, your left hip slightly open. That's just a direction, it's not a big movement. And reaching up through the left fingertips, rooting down through the feet. Be with the breath. Now to come out of this triangle pose, we're going to begin to bend our right knee and wind the arms all the way around into reverse warrior. So you may feel the need to adjust that back foot, bend the front knee toward the 90, let those left fingertips sink down the left leg, reach up and over, bend the front knee more, begin by gazing up toward the right arm. This upward gaze feels like possibilities. You know, what's possible? For you, it could feel like something else. Then maybe turn the gaze to look down at the back leg, toward the back foot. Maybe that feels like grounding. We're checking in with our foundation, our structure. On your exhalation, we'll unwind into warrior two. Out of your warrior two, press your right leg straight, turn your toes toward the long edge of the mat. Sweep your arms in toward the midline, thumbs to tap the sternum. Lengthen up. Pause for a moment, take a deep breath in. Heel and toe the feet once or twice. Genie hands, pop the feet together. So root down into your feet. On your next exhalation, we'll bend the knees a lot, sweep the fingertips on the ground, rooting down even more in chair pose. Root down, let your weight go down, down, down into the feet. And where's your breath? Smooth and flowing. Exhale, press the air away, floating thumbs to sternum, breathe in a smooth, deep breath. Breathing in your intention, and then exhaling it out into the world. On your next exhalation, let's step our feet apart for that goddess pose that we started with in the beginning. So it's not as wide as we were for triangle and warrior two, but it's about 2.5 feet apart is where I like to start. And then I heel and toe, rocking, sinking, and bring the arms out to the sides. You can rock back and forth from heels to toes till you find it. So usually now that we've been here before, it can be a little wider than where we started. So goddess pose. What do you think? Should we stay here for a little while? So inside of your goddess pose, sink a little lower, find your edge, and then inhale, rise up. about these arms. Inhale, rise. As moving through space around us right now with ease. So inhaling, rise. Exhaling, sink. Clearing the space around us of any negativity. You gotta feel some negativity sometimes, but you know what I'm saying, that extra stuff that we don't need. One more time, we'll sink and rise. Root down into the feet. We're gonna bring our hands behind the back and clasp. Roll the shoulders open, lean back. Place that imaginary bowling ball in your hands, stretching out the front body, bringing the shoulders toward each other. And then we'll take a fold, folding in, releasing the weight of your head toward the earth. Okay, and maybe your dog's barking too. Edison, hey. Releasing all of the weight of the head. Thank you for coming, Ed. And then he just went back to bed. And then release your hands to the ground. On your next inhalation, staying rooted in the feet, sink the hips down in line with the knees as much as feels okay to you. Remember to listen to the body. Hands walk up to the thighs and we come back up into goddess. From here, let's get some good side stretches in. Right forearm bends. Bring the right forearm to the right thigh, left arm up and over. This position always reminds me of the gesture of no fear. It's one of those mudras in our hands. And one hand is open, receiving, one hand is open, letting go. It's a symbol of there always being enough. And this no fear of lack. So stack your torso right on top of that right thigh. Sink your left sits bone just a little bit more. And then on your inhalation, come up into center. You need to come out, I hear ya. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink. Left forearm bends to left thigh. Right arm up and over. Be inside of this space between this complete giving and this complete letting go. Notice your heart in the center of that space, generating everything you need. Sink that right sits bone. One more breath, you got it. And come back up into center. And rise out. Float your hands into your heart. Thumbs to sternum, heel and toe a couple of times. Genie hands, hop the feet together. On your inhalation, sweep the fingertips along the ground chair. Press the air away, float hands to heart center. Thumbs to touch the sternum. Remembering your intention. Inhale, arms down to go up. Left hand takes the right wrist. We'll take a side bend, looking up through the right arm. Root down into both feet. You can look down or you can look up. Listen, listen, listen to your neck. And rise. Right hand to left wrist, up and over. Inhale, rise. Float hands to heart. Genie hands. Hop the feet apart. Turn your right toes out toward the short edge of the mat. Left heel drops away. And let's bend the front knee, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Right forearm bends. Let's bring your right forearm to your right thigh, left arm up and over. So it's similar to where we were before, but this is modified extended side angle. So bring this right forearm to the center. Center of the right forearm crosses with the center of the right thigh. Left arm reaches out up and over. We gaze through the top arm. Think about drawing your collarbones broad. And again, gaze is up or down, your choice. Just find a focal point. We don't want to be looking around. We want to let our body know we're paying attention. Now that we've rooted down inside of this modified extended side angle, reach a little bit more out through those left fingertips, big stretch. And then inhale, straighten the right leg, open the arms, triangle pose. Out of your triangle pose, let's sink our left hand down, step your back foot in, root down into both feet, pour out through the crown, and from here, let's walk your hands forward a little bit. I may run into furniture. And we're going to come up onto the ball of that back foot, and walk your hands even farther forward from your toes, maybe 3 or 4 inches, and then lift off the back leg, reaching it up toward the ceiling, so my head would step back. There we go. So we're in standing splits. Fire it up a little bit. We can bend our left knee and tuck it into the back of our right knee. Look forward. Inhale, extend it up. Exhale, tuck it. Inhale, extend it up. Feel free to skip these if you like. Look forward and extend and tuck. Extend and tuck. Just one more. Extend and tuck and extend. Pause. Allow the torso to draw toward the standing thigh. Release all the weight of the head. And when you're ready, sink that back foot into a lunge. A welcome lunge. So from here, let's add a left knee to the ground and rise up in a low lunge. Reach up through the fingertips. Shift your hips forward, stretching out the front of that left thigh, and then come out a little bit, listen to the body, shift your torso right back over that knee, and then shift forward, exploring your way in. Inhale, rise. One more time, little back bend, and then exhale, hands to the ground, back into the lunge. Walk the hands around to the long edge of the mat. So you can stay here if you like, or you can come into Skandasana. Sink into the left heel, sink over toward the right knee with the heel right beneath the sits bones. You can come up, you can, if you can keep a toe on or finger on the ground. Keep your right toes on the ground for sure. Or you can come up into Skandasana if you like, with the arms off the support, and as you're ready, sink the hands back to the earth. Just notice how that felt for you. Coming into the big wide-legged forward fold. And you may notice that your head comes to the ground now, or it may not. But you'll notice probably a little more space. And if you're using a block, you maybe a higher setting is good, or a lower setting, you decide. Inhale, walk the hands beneath the shoulders. And we'll shift our hands to walk them over to the left. So again, you can stay in the side lunge or slide your right heel towards you, working into Skandasana. And decide, maybe on this side it's different and you can't lift your hands. It's okay, you decide. Find your balance. Always good to find a focal point. And when you're ready, bring the hands back to the earth and we'll shift to walk the hands around the left foot, coming into the lunge. From here, square the hands around the left foot, draw the right knee to the ground, rise up in the low lunge. Ease in, shift your hips forward into a little back bend. Exhale, rise out. Shift and play with that stretch in the front of the right thigh and rise out. One more time, sink in, exploring, and exhale, come out. From here, we'll sweep the hands to the ground, and it's just a little more merciful to come into those that standing splits from pyramid. So step your foot in, root into the feet, and pour out over this front leg, rooting down. On your next exhalation, look forward, off the end of your mat maybe. I may not even be in the shot. So you guys know where we're going. Walk your hands forward, lift that back leg up into standing splits. And on your next exhalation, we'll plant your hands firmly, tuck your right knee to tap the back of your left. Look forward. Inhale, extend it up. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, extend. Tuck and extend. A few more times. And on your next exhale, hold it high, and then sink that right foot to the ground in the lunge. From the lunge, we'll sink the right heel and bring your right forearm up. Actually, let's go ahead and sweep right into triangle pose. Straighten the right leg, or left leg, right arm in the sky. Come up higher than you need to in order to bring your torso in line with your thigh. Find your triangle pose. Root it into both feet. Set your gaze. Notice what's here for you. And then when you're ready, bend your left leg, bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Remember, we're going to cross the middle of the forearm with the middle of the thigh. Right arm reaches up and over. Modified extended side angle. Wrap the right scapula around the spine, spiraling the heart to look upward or downward, but keep the chest open. One more breath here. Stretch out through those right fingertips. And then we'll wind our right hand back to our right thigh, left hand up and over. Easy does it. Reverse warrior. On your exhalation, warrior two. As you're ready, scoop the hands to face up, turn the toes toward the long edge of the mat, reach up, look up, exhale, hands to heart, checking in with your intention. Rooted in the feet, lengthen through the crown. Heel and toe the feet a couple of times for some control. Genie hands, hop the feet together. Inhale, arms up. Right hand to left wrist, side bend. Inhale, rise. Left hand to right wrist, side bend. Inhale, rise. Float hands to heart. Once again, imprint your intention. Inhale it, and exhale it out into the world. From here, genie hands, hop the feet apart. We're going to turn our left toes out toward the short edge of the mat and flow. Here we go. Warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, triangle. Now we'll pause here because we're going to add half moon. If you have a block, you may love that under your left hand. If you don't have a block, it's okay. You may not need it. Just play around and see where it takes you. So look at your left foot. Plot the spot from the pinky toe side 10 inches forward and 2 inches out toward the long edge of the mat. Looking down at that spot, bend your front knee. Walk your left hand up to that spot on the mat, stepping off from the back foot with a couple of hops, coming up into half moon. Stack your right hip on top of your left, right shoulder on top of left. Lengthen the back of your neck. One more breath. Exhale, sink back to triangle pose. Fold your right hand down. Bend your front knee. Step your back foot in for pyramid. Now deepen your pyramid with me. Bend your left knee, press into both feet, and pull the floor apart between the feet. And then straighten the front leg. Just gently tricking your muscles into going a little deeper here. And then on your next exhalation, we'll peek forward, walking our hands forward, lift that right leg back into standing splits. Release the weight of the head. You can root your hands into the earth and push the floor forward to shorten this distance between your heart and your thigh. Letting go still of all the weight of the head. Or you can play with your balance, wrapping your left arm around the back of your standing calf. You can also bring your right hand to wrap if it feels like just right to you to play with your balance that way today. Lift from the front of the right thigh. One more breath. And then we'll sink right into the lunge. Walk the hands around to the long edge of the mat, side lunging. Skandasana if you like. Hands can stay on the ground or rise, maybe. Maybe not. And we'll come back into center. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. On your next exhalation, let's root our hands into the earth, step out or walk your feet to about 1.5 feet, 2 feet apart. And then the same as we do for goddess pose, we're gonna rock back and forth from heels to toes a few times. Bring your hands to prayer. We're moving to garland pose. So sink your hips down, sit down, press the elbows into the inner legs, root into the long edges of the feet. Garland pose. This is a great place for a block too. For some people, it's nice to have a block right here beneath your sits bones so you don't feel like you're gonna fall over. As you work towards bringing your torso back over center. So breathe, rooting, 2 more breaths. Press the hands into the earth, shift forward, and straighten the legs. Release the weight of the head. Now bend back in to garland. If you're a person who loves crow, feel free to take one now. And if you have a block, it can be a nice way to work your way in. You can press the hands into the earth and step up onto the block. Heels together, toes spreading out. If you want to play with crow, what the block does, it gets your hips higher, so it makes it a little bit easier. Root your hands down a little bit wider than shoulder distance with wide spread fingers, and then tuck your knees up in toward the upper arm bones. Press the arms into the legs into the arms, shift forward, look forward, draw everything in toward the midline, and then maybe lift your feet, maybe not. Playing, and when you're ready, come down, step off, and release the weight of your body in a wide-legged forward fold. We'll bring our hands to our hips, press into your feet, bend your knees a little, and come halfway up, and then come a little bit farther, working your way into goddess legs. Rising up, goddess arms. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Turn your right toes out toward the short edge of the mat. Let your left heel drop away. Bend your right knee, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, modified extended side angle. We may have skipped this on the other side, but we're getting it now for some reason. And inhale, open into triangle. And we're going to shift into our half moon. So look at your right toe, pinky toe, 10 inches forward, 2 inches out toward the long edge of the mat. And then, it's interesting though, think about where your top arm is. Because I'm noticing that every time I look forward, this arm drops back. Keep it in line, right? So, looking forward, bend the front knee. Walk yourself forward, drop that right hand to that spot on the floor, lift your left thigh toward parallel with the earth. Broad across the collarbones, breathing in, breathing out. Half moon. One more breath. Sink back into triangle. Sweep the left hand down. Step the back foot in, pyramid pose. Bend your front knee, press into both feet, pull the floor apart between the feet. And then soften that pressing in the feet, straighten the front leg. We'll walk our hands forward for standing splits. Lift your left leg as high as feels good. You can root into your fingertips, push the floor forward. Keep lifting from the front of that left thigh. Perhaps wrap your right hand around the back of the standing leg to press yourself a little bit closer to the thigh. Or maybe just press into the fingertips and push the floor forward. One more breath. Exhale, sink it down into the lunge. From the lunge, we'll walk the hands around to the long edge of the mat and Skandasana if you like. And as you're ready, hands come down. Walk our feet to the floor and ourself to center. Hold the elbows, forward folding. You can rock your torso a little side to side, like the pendulum on a clock. Just gentle. And then release the hands down. Walk your hands forward, bring your knees to the ground. Sit down on your heels if that feels okay. If it doesn't, you can use a block on in between your ankles. And if you want more stretch in the feet, you can tuck your toes beneath. So tucked toes or sitting on heels, your choice. Take a moment and close your eyes wherever you are. Just notice the echoes of all those poses in the body in this moment. Just notice how you feel. Without judgment, just noticing. One more breath. And then when you're ready, we'll fold forward over our legs, releasing your forehead to the ground. So this is rabbit pose. You can walk your hands back on top of your feet to clasp, or hold the feet with your hands, or just let the hands rest on the ground. On your exhalation, come up and lying down on your back. Draw the knees into the chest. Rock your weight a little side to side again. Place your left foot on the floor, right ankle on left knee. Reach your hands through to hold on to the front of the left shin. Drawing the shoulders down, the chin in toward the chest. So it's not toward the chest, right? It's actually just keeping the back of the neck long. When we reach forward toward this leg, our chin wants to come along and help. So what we do is just lengthen the back of the neck, drawing it in slightly. So once we've gotten here, think about lifting this right knee toward the ceiling a little. Squaring off, but only as much as feels good. Flex the feet, open the toes, pull back on the shin. Exhale your belly button towards your spine and draw your nose up toward your ankle, maybe. Keep your sacrum heavy and then release. Exhale, sink the left foot to the ground, wrap the right knee right over the left knee. You can wrap it around into eagle legs if you like, or just keep the legs stacked. And then draw, actually, let's place our hands on the floor first. Lift up our hips and shift them over to the right. So your right leg's on top, and then we'll draw the knees over to the left. Arms can be out like a capital T. You can look over your right arm to continue the twist. Smooth breath. exhaling, wind the knees to point straight up again. Unwind the legs. Shift the hips into the midline. Left ankle on right knee. Lift off and take a hold of the front of the shin. Shoulders sink. Flex feet, open toes. Think about lifting that left knee slightly to square off. And smooth breath flowing in and out. In and out. Next exhalation, nose draws up toward the ankle. Tucking in, keeping the sacrum heavy. And release. From here, right foot comes to the ground, left knee crosses over. We'll pick up the hips and shift them to the left a couple of inches. You can wrap the ankle if you like or not. Draw the knees over to the right. Look out over that left arm. Sink the shoulders downward. Breathe down into the belly. On your exhalation, wind the foot back to the floor. Unwind the legs. Lift up the hips, shift them into center. Heel and toe the feet apart to the long edges of the mat. Let the knees drop to the right. And then over to the left. And back to the right. And left. Coming to Shavasana. You can stretch out along the ground, or if you're protecting your low back, heel and toe your feet apart, let your knees drop together. And for a moment, place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, but let the elbows sink to the ground. Smooth out the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Gently watch the breath flow through the whole body. Soothing, nourishing. Bringing you into a space of ease. Soften your whole face. Relax the jaw and the throat. Soften the shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Relax the upper back, the mid-back, and the hips. Just let their weight sink into the earth. Soften the chest, the solar plexus, the belly. And let go of the legs, the feet, and the toes. Surrender completely. next exhalation, begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Rub your palms together briskly to warm your hands. Once you've created some heat, place the roots of your hands right over the eyes for eye warming. Let the weight of the arms sink into the head, releasing any tension around your eyes. And as your hands begin to cool, just reach your left arm up along the ground. Your right arm up along the ground, whichever way you need to roll in a good direction for you. And then roll to your side, resting your ear on your bicep, and rest for a moment. Bringing to mind something, someone, some place, or some time that you're grateful for. Appreciate that one thing deeply. And now that you're filled with gratitude, press into your top hand and rise up to a comfortable seated position with eyes closed, hands at heart, remembering this connection in the hands as we bow our chin toward our chest. Recognize the divine dwelling in you. Feel free to be in awe of the divine dwelling in you. And then blink the eyes open, sweep the arms down to go up, and we'll recognize the divine in each other across cyberspace as we bow together and say, Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Tonight is a full moon. It's like a super moon, so it's one of the times that's closest to the Earth, so it'll be really, really big if we can see it. And so enjoy some time maybe under the stars, and I'll be right there with you, just on another space of the Earth. Thank you so much. And again, I'll drop in the comments all the links you need in case you want to send an offering, in case you want to connect for some coaching. I'm doing that, pay what you can right now. In case you want to be on my podcast, or you want to learn about how you can listen to my podcast, all of those links will be in the comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It means so much to me that you're here.